Hello comrades, today I'm going to show you how to be extremely successful in the transfer market. It doesn't matter who you're managing or what your goals are, there are some baseline strategies you can implement that will make you way better. In fact, your transfer game will be so good that you can have lots and lots of money left over for all your prostitution, match fixing, and general bribery. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief summary of the three main transfer strategies. If you're a big team like Man United or Barcelona, you don't really have to worry about money so much, but you have to worry about winning everything. This gets you prize money, this gets you better reputation, this gets you more sponsors. So winning everything is actually more important to your transfer strategy than anything else at a big club. If you're a mid-tier club and don't have a lot of money, then you need to create short-term solutions, you need to have impact signings, you need to get over that hump so you can get more money coming in and build for the future. If you can't do this, then you will be stuck in limbo. And finally, if you're a small team and really don't have a lot of money, your best bet is to plan for the future, so you need to sell a whole bunch of children that will make you a whole bunch of cash. Okay, wait, that kind of came out wrong. What I mean is that you need to focus on signing young players that are looking like hot prospects or wonderkids because they will make you a lot of money in the future. We'll come back to these transfer strategies in a bit, but for now let's talk about the actual transfer process. No matter who you're signing, no matter how old they are, no matter what position they play, your goal should always be to minimize the cost as much as possible. Once you find the player that you want to purchase, check out his value. Now, his value is composed of a number of different factors. These factors are influenced by age, other club interest, recent form, how much time there's left on the contract. Players who are nearing the end of their career or end of their contract will generally have less of a value. You should use the value as a basic foundation for your transfer. As a general rule of thumb, really good players will cost a lot more and bad players will cost a lot less. Now, this is a general rule, it's not always in effect, so you have to pay attention. Is the player transfer listed? Is the player injured severely? Is the player unhappy? So on and so forth. Sometimes, the club selling the player will need the money badly and you'll be able to get good players or promising players for lower than you thought you could. So this is why it's important to always start with a low bid. Just make sure you're not going unrealistically low. For example, if you're bidding on Paul Pogba in his prime, you don't want to bid 5 million because the other team will get offended and will stop responding to you. This makes negotiations take longer and it's just a pain in the ass. Okay, now let's move on to transfer clauses because they're extremely important in keeping your club financially healthy. If you don't use transfer clauses, you'll go bankrupt and you will be forced to suck Sepp Blatter's dick, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to do that. And if you do want to do that, well, okay. Anyway, the most useful transfer clause is the monthly fee option because it lets you buy players for a lower base price in return for paying more but over a longer period of time. Expensive players would be virtually unpurchasable without this clause, and if you're managing your club carefully and correctly, the long-term payment is not going to harm you by the end of the season. So when you're making a transfer, always make sure to lowball the base fee because you'll be adding on monthly installments most likely. When buying expensive players generally, the more months you pay, the more you'll have to pay. So for example, if you're trying to sign Pogba again and you put 48 months, they're not going to take 5 million from you over 48 months. That's a bad deal for Juventus. You might get better prices with smaller teams because they might need the cash badly, but generally the more months you set aside for monthly fees, the more you'll have to pay. Again, let me reiterate, most likely you will overpay for a player, but it's the only way to afford this player and over time it shouldn't hit you financially if you're careful about managing your club. The other transfer clauses that are worth engaging with are the appearance fees and the profit percentage. If you're struggling to make a deal but you're getting pretty close, you just need something to put you over the edge, you can try these fees to help out. By the way, another thing you can do is play around with the minimum goals fee. If the player you're buying is going to be sitting on the bench mostly or in defense or you know you're going to sell them quickly, you can try adding this clause for an extra bit of value for the selling team. Just think really hard about how you're going to use this player because you don't want to screw yourself over and end up paying way more than you anticipated. The basic strategy behind every single bid is bid low and then offer long-term clauses so that your immediate finances do not take a hit. Also, don't forget that you can play around with your wage and transfer budgets and you can allocate money to how you need it. Be sure to also make use of your scout reports because they'll tell you generally how much you can expect to pay for a player. Now, these aren't always 100% accurate, but they do give a good base point. Now that you know how to make the most out of all of your bids, you can implement this in any one of the 3 strategies that I mentioned at the beginning. If you're a super elite team, you can get the super elite players by paying 48 months of fees, and this will help you in the long term because if you're winning everything with these elite players, you're always having a positive cash flow. If you're a mid-tier team, these clauses will help you mitigate the costs that it takes you to get to the next level. For example, if you're signing a player near the end of his career, you can put in a whole bunch of clauses that won't come into fruition because this player will either retire or you will get rid of them very quickly. And finally, if you're a small team, these clauses will help you sign the best kids in the game for pretty cheap and then profit off them massively in the long run. It doesn't matter if you give away 10 or 20% of your profit, if you sell somebody who's going to sell for 30-40 million, you're going to make a good deal. If you have more transfer questions, just let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to help out and respond. I'm also working on a contract negotiation video. I have a lot of cool tips to give you guys there, and I'll be doing more Football Manager content in the near future, so if you want to see more FM, please subscribe and have a nice day.